Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to Generation Y with me, Maulana Khalil. And I wanted to say a couple of things, but I've been told the good news that we've got a caller online. So let's take the caller and then we'll continue from there, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. How are you, Imam Sahib?
Alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah. Yeah, Imam Sahib, so can you give me some advice how to spend time wisely and keep away from bad company and bad environment, and how to stay steadfast on deen?
Okay. How old are you?
28.
28. I was going to say you sound like a 19-year-old, but that's a compliment. But
MashaAllah, Jazakallah.
okay, you're 28 years old and you're asking me how to stay steadfast, is that right?
Yeah, now.
Okay, and what else?
And stay away from bad company.
Bad company. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm going to mention that now on, inshallah. Okay.
Jazakallah khair.
Okay. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum. Right. Jazakallah khair for that caller. And that's very a great question. How can you stay steadfast upon your deen? And secondly, how can you stay away from bad company? But before I go into this one, just want to mention one thing. We did have a offline caller mentioning the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that if anyone had to do sajda for anyone, it would be a lady before, it would be a wife before her husband. Now, this hadith, some people for this take advantage of this hadith and think, you know what, oh yeah, look how important it is for the wife to respect the husband. It is, no doubt. This hadith shows the importance of how much respect a woman should show her husband. No doubt about it. No doubt about it at all. However, it does not mean that a man take advantage and say, okay, if that was the case, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would have said, you know what, Aisha, you do the housework. Aisha, sew my clothes. Aisha, wash my clothes. Khadija, do this, etc., etc. Right? But Nabi sallallahu never did that. Nabi sallallahu still did things on his own. Do you see Nabi sallallahu telling his wives that do khidmat of my sisters, or do khidmat of my foy, or do khidmat of so-and-so, my family members, because it's my family? It didn't happen. So yes, the hadith shows the importance that women should respect their husband, and they 100% should respect their husband. But respect, brothers, you have to earn the respect. This is the other thing as well. For both sides, you have to earn your respect. The husband has to earn his respect, and the wife's got to earn her respect. I mean, it works both ways. If you're going to ill-treat each other, and you're going to diss each other, and you're going to be nasty to each other, then what's going to happen? There's not going to be much of a marriage, and there's going to be no respect at all. So, brothers and sisters, what you have to do is, yes, we have to respect each other, we have to love each other, but you have to earn that respect. You have to earn that respect, which is very, very important. So this is somebody who called early on in the program. I got an email from Albania mentioning that, don't worry, we're not watching the football, and we are watching you. So thank goodness, at least the Albanian people are supporting me on this noble cause today. So Jazakallah khair to Albania. Going back to the brother's question, which he mentioned just now, how do you stay steadfast upon Iman? Okay, that's the first point. Steadfast, but I guess both questions are sort of interlinked, steadfast and bad company. Now the thing about, if you have good company, it makes such a massive difference. Now, you ask me, how do you avoid bad company? What you need to ask yourself, the mates I am hanging around with, or the mates, the people I want to hang around with, do they have a good influence on me, or do they have a bad influence on me? And you're the only person who can answer that question. You're the only person who can answer the question. And ask your heart sincerely. Ask your heart sincerely that this person, my mates, these dudes, these guys, are they good for me, or are they bad for me? Point number one. I'm going to come back to this in a second. We have another caller online, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Yes, assalamu alaikum, brother.
Alaikum salam. I'm Jamal from Albania.
What is your name?
My name is Jamal.
Who is Jamal?
Yes, friend Maulana Khalil from Albania.
Oh, from Albania. CNE. How are you, brother Jamal Duka? Oops. Maybe I shouldn't have said who is Jamal Duka. Maybe he'll call back, inshallah ta'ala. So yeah, going back to the company, the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is mentioned, Al-mar'u ala dini khalilihi falyanzur man yukhalil. We got another call online. We'll take that call and then we come back to this, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa
wa rahmatullah. How are you, Maulana?
Alhamdulillah, I'm well.
I don't know how to start this, but I just wanted to find out what is the role of a woman in, within the house, basically, if the husband says not to do certain things within the reason, and if she still does it, and she raises her voice, and she raises her hand at times as well, where does she stand?
Raising her voice and raising her hand. Did you say hand as well?
That's right, yeah.
Okay, that's right. That's right. It's done. Jazakallah khair. Okay, inshallah. As soon as I finish this one, I'll mention this, inshallah. Okay, right. Jazakallah khair to that brother there. It's been a good start to the right. Let me go back to the first question, inshallah. Prophet ﷺ says, Al-mar'u ala dini khalilihi falyanzur man yukhalil. A person is recognized with the company they keep, so make sure you keep company with the right people. Point number one. Point two, Prophet ﷺ says, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min khalilin makir. Ya Allah, I seek refuge from dodgy friends. Aynahu tarayani, his eyes are always watching me. Wa qalbahu yar'ani, always watch out, on the lookout. In ra'a hasanatan. This is what you got to check in your friends, my brother. In ra'a hasanatan, that if they see something good in me, dafanaha, they'll bury it, they won't tell anybody. Wa in ra'a sayyatan, and if they see something bad in me, they will openly tell the whole world about it. Those the friends you've got? And point number two, these friends you keep in or want to keep, are they good influence on you or bad influence on you? Do they make you do good things or do they make you do bad things? And I'm going to talk to you about steadfastness in just a second, inshallah. We have a couple of calls, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Mayas Jamal Luka CNA, how are you?
Wallahi, alhamdulillah, mashallah.
You are watching football or you're watching me?
No. I in Kara TV, I saw you.
You see me?
Yes.
Okay.
Alhamdulillah.
How are you? How is your family and how is people in Albania?
Mashallah, alhamdulillah, nashkurullah ala kulli hal, very good.
Mashallah.
But in Albania, we have one problem, because your program is very good. Thank you very much for everything. But I need to ask one thing to you.
Yes, full. Speak.
In Albania, gypsy people marriage in 14, 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
But some people 35, 40 years.
So you're talking about age difference. Some people marry very young, some people marry very late.
Yes, very good. But gypsy people marry very young.
Yes. Jamal Luka, I think so in every culture is different. Example, many years ago, our mama and baba, when they come from India, Pakistan, they marry in 16, 17 years old. You understand me?
Yes.
And some people in village people, sometimes they marry early. City people, they marry a little bit late. But it is not about, if you marry early and you are mature and sensible and understand and have aql, no problem at all. Because marriage is responsibility, okay? And some people, and for people who marry late, you mustn't marry too late, because in Islam it encourages you to marry at a young age. That when you find somebody munasib, when you find somebody good, you must marry straight away. To get married in 30 and 40, I think it's very bad, because there is a lot of fitna, there is a lot of temptations, and maybe insan do guna and sin, so it is better not to get married at a late age. All right, let's have a glass of water first. Do we have a call? We have a call. Okay, let's see who we got. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Khalil Ahmed, and today I would like to ask you a question about football. You know, women, are they allowed to watch football because the men are showing their center parts?
What's your name? What's your name?
Khalil Ahmed.
So how come you got my name?
I don't know.
Okay, I've got your name maybe, or you got my name, yeah?
Yeah, because my mum wanted my name to be named after you.
Really? Where are you from?
I'm from Leicester.
You're from Leicester. Good man. Okay, I'm going to answer that question in just a second, okay?
Okay. Jazakallah.
Barakallah. Assalamu alaikum. We got one more call. Okay, ladies watching football. Can we have the caller, please? Assalamu alaikum. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yeah, I would like to ask basically, if you're sitting in a company that does a lot of gossiping and, you know, here and there, you know, things, telling other people's business, and you're also doing the same, but then you realize that what you're doing is wrong, and, you know, the only way to cut off from doing this is by, like, you know, not speaking to that person at all. And somehow I've got that on my conscience that me ignoring someone, am I doing wrong? But then on the other hand, like, you know, I'm trying to, like, sort myself out and say, like, you know, all the time, because I'm sitting with that person and that person's always, like, you know, saying bad things about someone, and it's not only that person, me as well. So now that I want to cut off from that person, I'm not doing that anymore. So am I wrong not talking to that person and completely ignoring them? It's a family member. So just wanted to know, that's just on my conscience, so just want to know if I'm doing the right thing or not.
There's two ways to go about it. I think one way is to actually tell that person that what we're doing, i.e. gossiping.
I have, like, you know, there was a time, like, someone passed away, and, you know, when someone passes away, you get that hope of that, you know, you're going to go one day and there's going to be hisab, kitab and everything. So that came to me, and I did say, look here, I didn't say to that, but I said, look, from now on, I'm not going to do all this. Like, you know, whenever we sit, we talk about each other's problems, or, you know, we talk about each other's stuff, like business, but no one else's. But still, I've noticed somehow, like, you know, that person will say some things, and when that person says something, then I will also add on things to it. Do you understand?
Yeah,
it's the same thing. So I just want to know if I'm right doing that.
If after telling them they still don't understand, then either there's two ways of doing it. If ever you sit with that person and they start talking about it, the best way is to walk out the room and say, listen, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to be strong enough. You're going to have to be strong enough in saying that. If, however, you can't say that to them, then if you avoid them and not meet them, and it's for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then according to Sharia, you've done nothing wrong at all. Loving somebody for the sake of Allah, and also hating somebody for the sake of Allah is perfectly fine. And the only reason you're doing it is not because you want to cut off family ties. You're doing it because you don't want to backbite about anybody. You have told them nicely. So I reckon you tell them. Second thing is that you can still keep in contact with them, but whenever they start talking like this, you walk out the room. And if they still don't listen, then it's best to avoid them as much as you can. And by avoiding them, you have not done anything wrong, because you've done it for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another caller, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Yes, oh, Jamal, Luka, you're back again from Albania.
Yes, sorry, line cut, I don't know what happened.
Okay, so I say, Jamal, it is no problem to get married early if you understand the responsibility of marriage, okay? And but you mustn't make marriage late, because in this time there's a lot of fitna, and it is very bad environment. We are human beings. Allah Ta'ala has given us desires. So maybe 20, 21, 22, 23, I think latest, a person, especially for a girl, and maybe for a man, 25, 26, they should get married early so that they can protect their iman, because nikah is half of iman. Nikah is half of iman. So it is important not too early and not too young. Everybody is different, Jamal, so everybody knows when they are ready to get, at what age to get married.
I not speak myself, I speak for majority in Albania.
Yes.
But Jazakallah khairan for everything. I have mashallah, I married. I have 4 children. I'm very happy with my wife. Alhamdulillah, I never think marriage again, because alhamdulillah, my wife enough. Jazakallah khairan for everything. Second one.
Yes, speak.
For Iftari packet, anything for Albania, because you know Albania, Kosovo, in Balkan, more and more people poor.
Inshallah, Rahma Mercy will be sending you plenty of iftari packet, and inshallah people who watch this program will support you and give iftari packet to Albania, inshallah.
Okay, Jazakallah khairan. You give salam people in Britannia. Thank you very much. You support people in Albania, Kosovo, and Balkan. Thank you very much.
Ameen.
We are making dua for you. Allah support your family. Allah help your job, your family. Allah give you big Jannah Firdaus.
Ameen. Thumma ameen. Allah give you and the whole ummah as well, inshallah ta'ala. Wow, that must be the first time you had around 6-7 calls on the go. MashaAllah, wicked. Maybe it's because of the half-time break. Please, let's have it another 40. Please continue like this for the next until 10 o'clock, inshallah. I did say Brazil and Mexico is going to be boring. It's going to be 0-0 right to the end. right? So if I were you, just stay focused with Generation Y and not watch the football, because you're not going to get much fun there. Everything's offside, etc., etc. Over here, everything's onside, and it's going to be a lot more fun, inshallah ta'ala. Anyway, going back to a few more points, I've talked about bad company. I've talked about steadfast. Now, the way to be steadfast on our iman, let's be honest, all of us, most of us, our iman is like a yo-yo. Okay, sometimes the yo-yo is up and sometimes the yo-yo is down. Sometimes our iman is up and sometimes our iman is down. Again, it comes down to company as well. Sometimes we might have mates who say, come on, let's go for namaz. Sometimes we'd have mates who say, oh, let's go to the cinema. Or forget playing namaz. Let's watch the football. Today, Brazil and Mexico. Why don't you go for Maghrib namaz? This is just one example. Why don't you go for Maghrib? It's such a good game. Or England and Uruguay on Thursday. We got to watch, forget us, we play namaz at home, Asr time early at home, play namaz early at home, and watch, Suarez destroy England. Let's hope it doesn't happen, right? But what I'm saying, again, you got to choose your friends. Friends play a big part in the way friends play a very big part in how our iman goes, up or down. Now, we need to contact our local masjid and speak to our imam. In our masajid, I'll give you an example myself. I'm an imam myself. Most of the time I do bayans. But sometimes I go to other shuyuks in Leicester, our buzrugs. We have Hazrat Maulana Adam Sahib, Maulana Salim Sahib in Leicester example. I actually attend their programs because you know what? I feel I need fuel. And I feel I need iman, my iman to go up. So I attend, and honestly, when I attend their programs, when I leave from there, I feel spiritually so much stronger. And I feel so much better. I really do feel better, and I always think to myself, well, why don't I go more often? Why don't I go more often? So what I would say to you, my respected friend who rang earlier, is that if you want your iman to be strong, okay, and be steadfast upon your iman, sit in the company of the ulama ikram. Go into your masjid, sit in their company, sit in their dars, listen, because what they're talking about is about Allah and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And in the words of Allah and Rasul, there is nur, there is light. It's very, very special. The more you listen to it, the slowly our hearts, you know what it's like, brother? It's like the doctor. He looks at the patient and he goes, you know what? Antibiotics for 1 week. Somebody antibiotics for 3 days. Somebody antibiotics for 2 weeks. Some more depending on the illness. Our hearts become ill. Our hearts become sick. And sometimes it's very, very serious. So what does the doctor say? 3 times a day. Morning, afternoon, evening. So what does the imam say in the masjid? Read istighfar in the morning, read istighfar in the afternoon, read istighfar in the evening. What happens? Because by reading the Quran, by doing dhikr, first of all, the Quran says, Allah bi dhikrillahi tatma'innul qulub. In the remembrance of Allah, Allah will give you satisfaction in the heart. Another hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, by reading Quran, the Nabi Sallallahu says, our hearts get rusty. Our hearts get rusty. So the Sahaba said, Ya Rasulullah, what's the best way to clean and purify our hearts? Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, remember death, remember maut, and recite the Quran. By reciting the Quran, what's going to happen? The filth and the dirt will slowly come off, and our hearts will start shining and it'll be clean. So stay in the company of ulama. Read Quran, even if it's 5-10 minutes every single day. Go out in the path of Allah Ta'ala. There's Jamaat Tabligh. Go out there. You go out in the path of Allah Ta'ala. Sometimes when you're at home all the time, you can't get away from dunya. By leaving that for a few days, 3 days, 40 days, it makes you a much better person. And by this way, our iman will stay steadfast. Yes, days will come where our iman will still feel low. The moment you feel that, go straight to the masjid. This fight's gonna go on until Qiyamah. Us and our shaitan and nafs. Sometimes nafs and shaitan win, sometimes we win through the fazl of Allah Ta'ala. But to keep on top of things, keep on going to the masjid. Masjid, what is masjid? Masjid is a house of Allah. What is the masjid? Masjid is a place of angels. What is the masjid? Masjid is a place of sakina, rahmat of Allah Ta'ala. And when you enter the house of Allah, where there is rahmat and sakina, what's going to happen? Allah is going to make your iman stronger. So this is one way of making our iman stronger. We have a caller on the line. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, Ya Sheikh.
Yes, sister.
I've got one question,
Sure.
which is, I've got a bit of confusion from different people. I heard that, like now it's a long day and the Isha namaz is a bit late. I heard that you can pray together with the Maghrib. And if you are allowed to pray with the Maghrib, what's the right rules? Like, what sunnah or what you can leave, and then that's what I heard. Could you please clearly give me a message?
Okay. So you've heard that you can pray Maghrib, and in these long days you can pray Maghrib and Isha together.
Isha together, yeah.
Right.
With Maghrib namaz, yeah.
Okay. What I will do, to be honest, I don't know the masla specifically myself. I've heard about it, that in the summer months, Isha time doesn't really start, so you can pray it. However, if there's any muftis watching, what I will say, if there are any muftis watching this program, I would love them to call in, inshallah ta'ala, and maybe they can enlighten us on this much masla. So if there's any muftis watching this program and they know about the masla of reading Maghrib and Isha together, I'd be grateful.
How I heard that you can leave the Maghrib Sunnah and just do the further and then carry on Isha. So I wasn't clear because I just want to...
To be honest, sister, I'll be honest, I don't have the full knowledge of this, and I wouldn't like to say something which I don't have the knowledge of. So that's what I'm saying is that if there's any muftis watching this program, we've still got an hour to go yet, so I'm going to ask them to actually phone in, inshallah ta'ala, and maybe they can enlighten us on this masla, inshallah ta'ala. Okay? Jazakallah. Okay, the sister's gone. Okay. Okay, we had a few more questions. One is about raising the voice of the ladies. And raising hands for a man or a woman is wrong. You cannot, a husband shouldn't raise his hand and give his wife a good sapata and a good smack. That's not permissible in Islam at all. And likewise, for a lady to raise a hand on a husband, that is never right. For a woman to raise a hand on a husband, it is not right at all. And I think you displease Allah and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam by doing so. Raising your voice as well. Women, sometimes you got to remember, this is the absolute truth of the matter. I have been saying a lot of things in your defense about how men should treat and look after women. But at the same token, the women should also learn to respect their husbands as well. But when you talk to them in a humane way. Talk to them in a decent way. You don't agree with your husband, talk to them nicely. Explain to them, I don't agree with this. But if you're going to constantly raise your voice, you're going to constantly nag at your husband, you're going to have a go at your husband, then in the light of Sharia, you are displeasing your husband, which means you are displeasing Allah and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that would be a gunnah. That would be a gunnah for raising your hands, raising your voice, hurting your husband's feelings. It wouldn't be permissible. It wouldn't be right at all. Especially when the husband, when he's telling you the things which are right. Now, if your husband is telling you to do something wrong, telling you to commit a sin, then that's different. However, if he's telling you something right, in his right, according to the laws of Sharia, then you have every right to listen to your husband. We have another call. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. I'd like to ask a quick question.
Sure.
That's all right.
Sure.
I've been looking at the major signs, before Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm.
I just had a bit of confusion about the certain things that'll happen. One of them is, the wind that'll take the souls of the believers, and Ad-Dukhan, the beast.
Mm-hmm.
It says that the wind will come before Ad-Dukhan, taking the souls of the believers, and the Dukhan will stamp the faces of believers and disbelievers. But how can there be believers when the souls of the believers are already gone?
Okay, I'll mention that, inshallah. Just give me a few minutes, inshallah, okay?
Right, thank you.
Okay. Jazakallah khairan. I will mention about Dukhan and the signs of Qiyamah and later, but all I know. Let's go to the ladies' football first. Let's go to the easier question, inshallah. Can ladies watch these geezers, Ronaldinho and Neymar and Suarez and Gerrard and Rooney and Sturridge and the rest of them, can they? First of all, that boy who rang in, his name is Khalil Ahmed. I do feel sorry for you, because if you are named after me, Allah make it easy for you, that's what I say. But I hope if there's anything good inside me, and your parents kept your name after me, then good luck to you. But if there's anything bad in me, which is plenty, may Allah Ta'ala save you from all of that and make you a top man, inshallah Ta'ala. Can ladies watch football? I think it's crystal clear. The men, it is satar. I don't think it is permissible at all. It is not. There might be lots of ladies watching Brazil versus Mexico. You're going to say, Mona, you just given a fatwa on IQRA TV that ladies cannot watch football. If you're not happy with my answer, according to my understanding, I don't want to compromise my religion. I don't want to compromise Islam and say, you know what, yeah, sisters, it's okay. It's 2014 and it's the World Cup's in Brazil. So so you can watch football. I think I would be wrong in saying that. So I tell you what, if you don't feel content with my answer, feel free to ask your local ulama ikram. But according to my knowledge, I don't think it would be permissible. If you're really interested in football, maybe you can listen to the radio and you can get the results from there, or you can switch the TV on and close your eyes and you can watch the football like that, which is probably not a good idea anyway. But I was going to talk about the World Cup, but going back to the lady, that's the ladies' football we talked about, and then it's about Dukhan. Now, I didn't hear the brother properly, clearly at the time, to be honest. But what I will say that regarding the wind and the beast, close to Qiyamah, the beast will come and he'll mark everybody shaqiyun wa sa'idun, who's good and who's bad. And at that time, everybody shall be alive. So it's possible you might have got mixed up between the Dukhan and the beast. But one thing is guaranteed, inshallah ta'ala, that when the time does come, there will be believers around and he'll mark them. Who's good and who's the bad person, who's going to go to Jannah and who's not going to go to Jannah, inshallah ta'ala. So I think I've covered more or less all the questions, which has been fantastic. This last half-time break between Brazil and Mexico, probably second half has already started anyway. But folks, why do you watch that? And this is my point for this this part of the program. Is the funny thing is we've had lots of calls, we've had no emails at all. So folks, please feel free to send me an email on generationy@iqra.tv, generationy@iqra.tv. Now what I wanted to say, folks, is the World Cup is going at the moment, right? Some people say, Maulana, it comes every 4 years, so come on, let us watch it. Nobody can force anybody not to watch it or to watch it. Everybody, Allah, we've got a choice, right? The right and the wrong. Okay? We all know what's right, we all know what's wrong. What I'm saying, everything, right, that we got to prioritize. Okay, we have interest in football. We live in England, we support England, and we hope they win on Thursday. Most of us support England, some of us might not support England, etc. Whatever the reason is, some might support Brazil. I mean, whoever you support, good luck to you. The thing about it is, the question is, do we sacrifice our deen for the sake of football? This is the question I want to ask. Is Brazil, is England so valuable to us that we can say, we pray namaz at home? Because Maulana, at least we prayed our namaz. I understand that. You've prayed your namaz. But if you had gone to the masjid, you would have got 27 times more reward than praying it at home. And when we're praying namaz and watching football at the same time, believe me, that namaz at home, when we're praying at half-time or whenever we're praying, is never the same. We're absolutely bombing it down. Because we want to hear the half-time stats, and we want to hear what this Gary Neville's saying, or this guy is saying, or Roy Keane is saying, or what that geezer is saying, and whatever. If you ask me, how do you know all these people's names? At one time, I was a completely football fanatic. I really was. I was absolutely crazy. I was a die-hard Liverpool fan. I still support Liverpool, but in its limitation. I'm not crazy. I don't, sulk at, well, maybe not so much, especially what happened after last year. What I'm saying, I know what goes on in the world, but what I'm saying, there's a limit to everything. There is an absolute limit to everything, what you can take it. I wouldn't go as far as missing my namaz. I wouldn't break the TV set if England lost. I wouldn't swear and scream if England miss an opportunity. If Wayne Rooney doesn't score a goal, I won't go ballistic about it. You can't go completely mental and throw stuff at the TV and smash the TV and not pray your namaz and get angry and get annoyed. You can't do that. Yes, we like our football. We enjoy our football. We play football. We support our local team. We support our national team. Great. But that's not everything for us. What is our World Cup? What is our World Cup? Our World Cup is this, my respected brothers and sisters. At the end of this tournament, one team is going to pick up that golden trophy and show it to the world and say, we are the best team in the world, rightly so as well. It could be España, it could be England, let's hope it is England, it could be Brazil, it could be whoever it is. What is our World Cup? Our World Cup, my respected brothers and sisters, this is amazing. And the thing is, this World Cup which they get in the dunya, right? How long does that happiness last for? How long does it last for? It lasts for a few days, or a few months, or maybe a year, and then the happiness is gone. My brothers and sisters, honestly, this is the truth, bottom of my heart. All these people who don't have Iman, all these people who don't have Islam, who we idolize, who we love their skills, we love the way they dress, the way they play kick a football, we need to make dua for them. And we need to make dua for ourselves that on the day of Qiyamah, my respected brothers and sisters, Allah gives us our book of deeds in our right hand. Then we have just won the World Cup. We have just won the World Cup when Allah gives us our book of deeds in our right hand. Because if Allah save us all, if Allah gives that book and if we receive that book in our left hand, then we're finished. Because that happiness over there in the right hand, and if the Quran says, Ha umukra'u kitabiya, look at me. The person will call out, look at me, I've got it, I've received it, it's in my hand. What is it? I have won the trophy, I have got my book of deeds in my hand, and Allah has given me Jannah, and Allah is pleased with me. I'm gonna be happy forever. World Cup winners, they're happy for a few days. I'm not against it. I hope you don't get in the wrong idea. I'm not against it. Football, we like it. It's bombarded. We're bombarded about it. But there's a limit to it. There's a limit to it. We can't sacrifice a salah for it. We can't get angry. We can't swear. We can't criticize. We can't say bad things. We need to prioritize our deen, or is it football first? Our Islam, or is it our football first? Do we become moody? Do we moan? And think about it. How much time do we sit with mates and say, you know what, if Rooney had done this, had Sturridge had done this, had Sterling done this, had Gerrard done this, had this guy done this, had this guy did this. We spend so much time moaning and whinging and crying afterwards. I wish they had done this. Brothers and sisters, why don't we think about ourselves? I wish we had prayed our namaz. I wish we had read Quran. If we had the same passion which we have for football, for our Islam, brothers and friends, we all would be great buzrugs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We would be great friends of Allah. We would become awliyaullah if we had the same passion. Because the game's finished, we still talk about it. And we'll talk about it for weeks and months and years to come, to say this, if. Brothers and friends, sisters, what we don't want is to, on the day of Qiyamah, to say if. If we say if on the day of Qiyamah, then we're finished. We want to say, Ha umukra'u kitabiya, inni dhanantu anni mulaqin hisabiya. Then look at me, I've got my book of deeds in my right hand, and I'm going to Jannah because I knew I had to meet my Allah. I prepared myself for the hereafter, and that time of happiness, Allahu Akbar, that's going to be amazing, brothers and sisters. When that book of deeds is in the right hand, and you can hold it with both hands, and you can say, yeah, I've won the World Cup, and I've got my trophy, and I've got my certificate, and I've got my graduation certificate, and I'm going to Jannah, and I'm going to enjoy, and I'm going to chill, and I'm going to be happy. Brothers and friends, sisters, mothers, elders, that's our World Cup. And this is what we need to aim for. Honestly, brothers and sisters, this dunya, it's here 1 minute. 1 minute the winner is this country, the next minute the winner is that country, the next minute is that country. Brothers and sisters, when are we going to be winners? We want to be winners in the eyes of Allah Ta'ala. When we go in our qabr, mothers and sisters, how many Muslims wear t-shirts? How many Muslims wear t-shirts of other footballers? They're 40, 50 pounds worth. I mean, that's expensive. That's very, very expensive. I mean, if you really want one, then buy one, but put your name on it. If you really, really want one, but don't go and buy at a football. I don't agree with it. I think it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. But we buy such expensive things for dunya. Brothers and sisters, why can't we invest in the hereafter? If I'm not saying leave dunya, because we're living in this world, we got to live in this world, and fine, we need to spend on ourselves. I'm not against it. But there's a limit to everything. There's a limit to everything. And understand this, folks, that we're here for a short period of time. People say, World Cups come 4 years. I say, folks, we only come once. And if we fail in this one opportunity, then, brothers and sisters, what are we going to say to Allah on the day of Qiyamah? What are we going to say? With what face are we going to stand before Allah on the day of Qiyamah? What face are we going to stand in front of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam? Yes, we support our team, no problem. But brothers, get your priorities right. Dunya is not worth sacrificing for our deen. Dunya is not it's worth sacrificing for our deen. So this is what I want to talk about, the World Cup. The World Cup is going to go on, and especially in the month of Ramadan. It's going to be 2 weeks in the month of Ramadan. Please don't let it spoil your Ramadan. Now we're going to be at Asr time or Maghrib time in the masjid, Iftari time. What's the score? What's the score? What's the score? Forget the score. Raise your hands and make that connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, stand up, put your hands and stand before, make dua to Allah. Okay, Ya Allah, I've come in this dunya once. Ya Allah, in this dunya, make sure I pass my exam. That Allah, you give me my book in the right hand on the day of Qiyamah. And Ya Allah, you're happy with me and you give me entry into Jannah. And the moment that Allah is happy and we get entrance into Jannah, brothers and sisters, we have achieved absolutely everything. We will be the luckiest brother, man, woman, young, old, that, to go enter into Jannah. Allah give me Allah give you, Allah give this to the whole ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Brothers, we're going to go for a break very, very soon, inshallah ta'ala. And we're going to pray our Maghrib namaz during that break as well, inshallah ta'ala. And then what we're going to do after the break, we're going to talk about Ramadan Mubarak, how to prepare a little timetable, inshallah, for Ramadan Mubarak as well, and how we can make our Ramadan in the best way possible. We will talk about this, inshallah ta'ala, after the break, inshallah. So don't go anywhere, inshallah ta'ala. Pray your Maghrib namaz if you have to, well, not if you have to, you must pray your namaz. And then after that, we will talk and discuss, inshallah ta'ala. This second part of the program has been fantastic. Plenty of phone calls. I'm so surprised we've had no emails. Generation Y, IQRA.tv. Don't go anywhere. Speak to you all very, very soon after the break. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.